Hello, Liz here. So what we're going to do today is make some wooden firecrackers. So we have the tall one done, and we have the small one done. So we're going to do the middle one, the white one. And let me tell you how long they are. Now, I'm sure you have something at the house that you can use. These were wooden tent stakes, and I had my husband cut them. This one's 8.5, so this one should be 6.5, and then this one should be 4.5. And these are 1.25 by 1. But you can have whatever size you want. You can do square, you can do rounds, just whatever you have on hand. We just happen to have a bunch of these tent stakes laying around. So we're going to paint this white, and I have apple barrel, just plain white. For the red one I used Christmas red, and the blue one I used blue ribbon in folk art, but you can use whatever blue, red, and white that you have on hand. So the first thing we're going to do is paint these. Paint this one. And I have my white here, so I'm just going to dump some in my tray. And my granddaughter, who's 5, she painted this one for me blue. Didn't she do a good job? I thought she did excellent. She told me this craft was boring because I made her sand the blocks, and she didn't like it. This craft is boring, Grandma. I don't like it. I'm like, well, okay. But I like it. And I'm not going to worry too much about the coverage on it because we're going to sand it down. So you want to paint the sides and the back and the front, and then the top. You don't need to paint the bottom. And I'm just using acrylic paint. And like I said, I'm not worried about the coverage. I'm just going to do the one coat because we're going to sand it, make it look older. I mean, these tent stakes are probably pretty old to start out with. But I wanted to make them look festive for the 4th of July. So I thought red, white, and blue would be appropriate. I mean, they're not really going to say 4th of July except for the fireworks part of it. And I snatched my husband's heat gun so I can dry this paint while we're doing this. So it looks like I got everything covered. So let me put this in water. Let me wipe my fingers. Always good to have some baby wipes around. Okay, so let me get his trusty gun out. Supposedly, this makes it dry quickly. My first time trying it. He originally bought this for acrylic, or I'm sorry, resin that we were doing. And this one has 2 heat settings, so I have it on the lowest. really does work. Yay. And if you're like me, you don't like waiting for your crafts to dry. Look at that. I can't believe it. It's done. Look at that. Oh, okay. Well, I got some on me. Must have gotten some spots with more paint on it than other spots. But that's okay. So we're going to take our sandpaper, and this is 150 grit. I'm just going to cut a little piece off. It's been used pretty well, but that's okay. And I heard that if you use your scissors on sandpaper, it sharpens it. And two, if you know anybody that would like to do these crafts, feel free to put this video on your Facebook page and let people know about it. And I also, on Liz's craft page, in the video section, I put all the videos that we've done. All except one. There was one I had issues with, and I wasn't able to put it out there. But any of the rest of them, you can go to the video section and just watch any of the videos. If you see a craft that you wanted to do later, you can always go back to it. So I'm just sanding it down, making it look a little rustic. I especially like to get the edges. Yeah, my granddaughter didn't like the sanding part. She said it was boring. And then I just want to get around the bottom edges and the top edges. And then the top. Okay, that looks pretty good. So we're going to go with that. I'm going to set this aside. Wipe my board. I'm just going to wipe my block off on my jeans. Of course you can, I have a paper towel over here, but you know, why use that when you can use your jeans? Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to stencil on the sides. So this is a stencil I got at Walmart, and it had 2 more in the package. So these are just designs, and this is a plastic one. You know, it's not the greatest stencil, but you know, it'll work for our purposes. So I'm just going to put it, and I don't have any blue chalk paste. So I'm going to use this blue ink that I have from another company. And if you're interested in the stencils that we're using other than this one, you can go to lizyonke.magnoliadesignco.com. And for this, I'm going to put it on my little spongy thing here. You can get these at the Dollar Tree in a pack of 3 different sizes. So I'm just going to hold my stencil down, hope that it doesn't move on me, and just dab it. Now this is ink, but like I said, I didn't have any blue chalk paste. I'm going to have to put an order in, but I want some black ink from Magnolia, and they don't have any in right now. Oh look, that turned out really good, and it's, what do they call it, where it kind of fades? I forget what that's called. Ombre. Kind of has an ombre effect. So I'm going to dry that. Because we're going to have to put it down and then do the other side. So they're supposed to be getting the black ink in on the 14th. So I just have a few more days to wait, and then I'm going to put an order in and get me some different color chalk paste and some more stencils that we can work with. Okay, let's see. No, it's dry. So let's do the other side. And as you see, it doesn't take very much ink. Oh, it slipped on me. And we're going to be sanding these down too to make them look more rustic. Okay, so I see I got a little bit here. We'll take care of that when we sand it down. Okay, let's dry this. Doesn't look bad. Oh, it's dry. Oh, I forgot. I'm going to have to use this on my stencil. So we have this one here that says love. We don't have any design on it. This one has home, and we have the polka dots on it. So I thought this one would look good with this, and then we're going to use the word hope. So I'm using this stencil here. So for the love, I use this right here, this one here, and for home, I use this one here. So you don't have to use the stencils in a full. You can take a piece here and there. Now this has been used several times, so I don't need to fuzz it. And I'm kind of liking this side of it for our hope. So I'm just going to place it on there, hopefully in a good place. And then I'm going to use my blue ink because I don't have any chalk paste, blue chalk paste. And I just got a little dot. And I'm just going to very carefully do the H. And none of the rest of the stuff. Okay, so there we have just the H. Look at that. Isn't that great? So we're going to have to dry this before we go to the next part. If not, you're going to smear it. And we don't want that to happen. Okay, this is burning my fingers. Okay, that's dry. Wow, I mean, these heat guns are great. And he got his heat gun at, I want to say it was probably, what's the name of that place? Oh man, I can't remember the name of the place. But it's not Tractor Supply. It's one of those other ones where you can get heat guns and all kinds of tools and stuff. Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight's where he got it. Okay, so I have my O. That's all I did, and there we go. And so I'm going to dry this before I go on to the next one. And if you can't make the live videos, I always post the replay. And like I said, you can go to Liz's craft page, and you can go into the video section and you can see any of the videos that we have there. Okay, so I'm just going to do the P. Being careful not to get any of the other letters. Okay, I think we got it all. Now I haven't put any more ink on my squeegee. So like I said, it takes very little ink and or paste, chalk paste, which is what I would have used if I had it. So I'm just drying the P so that we can put the E on. Okay, our P is dry. So now we can do the E. I think we're going to have to get a little more ink here, but we've used very little. Alright, I think we've got that. We just did the E, and there it is. So I'm going to put this in my water here because you want to clean these right away, and especially the ink. You want to put it in your sink and spray it, and then you can scrub it with your finger, or you can use like a little spongy thing to clean it. And it will, the ink does stain your stencil, but the thing of it is, as long as the holes are clear, you can still use your stencil. So we're just going to dry this E. Oh, that's quick. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our sandpaper, which is 150 grit, which is just what I had on hand, and then we're going to sand down the 3 sides, and then we're going to get this right here off. So let's do that first. Okay, so we got most of it off. So I'm just going to take the sandpaper and go over the whole thing here. Give it that faded look. So that compared to this. And then we're going to do, so we did this side, we did that side, and we're going to do this side. And then I'm just going to wipe the dust off. And now we're ready for the top part, which is just a bead with these little metal springies. So, I already have this bead here. I didn't have any white ones, so I have this little one, and I painted it white. So I'm going to use that. And so what the coils are, it's cord steel coil. And I have 6 different colors here. And I got these from Fire Mountain Gems. But you can also make your own. You not as tiny as this probably, but you just take some thin wire and you could just wrap it around, like you could do a pencil. Just whatever you can find that's small, like a crochet hook. You could even wrap it around this right here, the paintbrush. Just whatever you have on hand. So what we're going to do is, I have my 5 colors, and then I want to pull them. And I usually make them close to the same size. They don't have to be. And then I'm just going to pull them. And then I'm going to probably cut it about right there. Okay. You could just cut it with your scissors, an old pair of scissors, not your good material scissors. So I have one of each color. I pulled it. They're at different heights, sizes. And then I'm just going to put some hot glue in my bead here. And then I'm going to start putting them in there. And it doesn't matter what order, just as long as you get them all in there. And you can use whatever size bead you want. Just want to make sure they're not poking out the bottom like mine is. There we go. And we'll put the last one in. Isn't that cute? Now I think this one I'm going to have to cut a little bit. So let's cut a little bit of this one off. Okay, so here, this is what we have. So I'm going to glue it right here. I'm just going to put my glue on the bottom of my bead all over. I'm going to put it right there. So there's what we have. So we have our red one, our white one, some glue string. Okay, where are you? And then my blue one. Now tomorrow, what we're going to do is, I'm going to take this piece of wood. I think it's oak, real nice. I mean, you don't have to get oak, it's really heavy. But we're going to make a riser out of it to put our blocks on. So I have these beads, wood beads that are half drilled, and they're flat where the hole is. And I'm just going to put those on there for legs, and then I'll put those on. And then I have a blue burlap flower that I made. And then I have red, red here, and then white. So I'm going to make a red and white flower to put on there with the blue one, and we'll have red, white, and blue flower to put on along with our fireworks there to put on our riser. So we're doing a riser tomorrow, and I'm going to stain the top of it before I go live, and then we'll do the staining on the actually, since I have the hot gun, I'll just do the staining, all the staining on live. So if you don't have one of these hot guns, you can get it at Harbor Freights. It has 2 settings on it. It has, anyway, it has a higher setting and a lower setting. So I've been using the lower setting, and it dries really quickly. So if you're a crafter like me that doesn't like to wait, make sure you get one of these, and it dries it really quickly. I was surprised at how quick it dries. So, and if you want any of this stenciling, you can get that at hi Pat, hi Dusty, LizYonkey.magnoliadesignco.com. And we use the family stencil today. So I'll see you back here tomorrow, and we'll do the riser for our fireworks. So until then, bye.